I was running through the wet countryside with the others chasing behind me. They always treated me differently. They caught me, pulled off my rain-soaked petticoat, and threw it into the muddy ditch. I could do nothing but watch them laugh. That was how people saw me: strange, simple, someone they could torment whenever they wanted. At home, I lived with my father, Hugh O'Donnell, and my sisters, Breda and Janie. At night, we gathered around the fire and listened to old stories. Breda told us about spirits and strange beings that wandered the countryside. One story stayed with me more than the others. It was about a mysterious fiddler named Scarf Michael. They said he could appear and disappear without warning. Some believed he was a ghost. Others thought he belonged to the fairy world. And hearing his fiddle was supposed to mean trouble was coming. Meanwhile, my sister Janie had her own problem. She was pregnant by Eamon Farrell. Our families had never been close. Eamon's father, Connor Farrell, and my father had argued over land for years. But now Janie was carrying Eamon's child. Marriage had to be arranged. So the local matchmaker, Miles Keenan, came to settle things between the two families. My father finally agreed. Janie would marry Eamon. After leaving us, Keenan traveled across the countryside. Near the water, something strange happened. Scarf Michael appeared to him. The man from Breda's stories was real. Michael knew about the coming wedding, and he wanted to play his fiddle there. Soon, Janie and Eamon were married. People filled our home. There was drinking, dancing, music, and celebration. Then 3 strange figures arrived. They were mummers, covered from head to foot in straw, with tall woven masks hiding their faces. At first, everyone was frightened. People wondered if Scarf Michael had really come, but the celebration continued. As the drinking continued, some of the younger people slipped away, toward the old mill. I followed them. I wanted to belong with them, but once again, I wasn't welcome. They mocked me and pushed me aside. Then, one of the straw-covered figures came toward me. He removed his mask. It was Scarf Michael. The frightening man from the stories was standing directly in front of me, but he didn't hurt me. He took me away from the others. Michael told me he was a conjurer. Then he began playing his fiddle. What happened next was impossible to understand. The people who had been drinking and fooling around began seeing terrifying and ridiculous things. One of the men appeared to become like a wild goat while he was with Triona. Everything around us seemed to change whenever Michael played. I didn't know whether what I was seeing was real, but Michael seemed completely in control of it. And for the first time, someone wasn't treating me like I was helpless. He told me there was power inside me. Power I didn't yet understand. By morning, Michael disappeared, and I went home. But people had already heard that I had spent the night with Scarf Michael. Triona began spreading stories about what she had seen. Soon, people weren't only calling Michael dangerous. They were looking at me differently too. They began calling me a witch. Then things around the village started going wrong. The crops began to fail. Families were losing what little they had. People were being forced from their land. And instead of accepting that there were things they couldn't control, they looked for someone to blame. They chose me. My own family was falling apart too. Janie lost the child she had been carrying. The marriage that had brought our 2 families together began to mean nothing. Eamon walked away from her. Everything that had seemed settled after the wedding was disappearing. And every new tragedy gave the villagers another reason to fear me. Soon the whispers became open accusations. They believed my connection to Scarf Michael had brought evil upon them. Even my own family became caught in their fear. Father Connolly tried to defend me. He told them I wasn't responsible for their suffering, but superstition was stronger than reason. The villagers wanted someone to punish, and now they were coming for me. I had nowhere else to turn, so I called for Scarf Michael, and he came back. Once again, Michael protected me from the people who wanted to hurt me. I left with him. I had spent my entire life trying to belong to that village. Now I was becoming an outcast, just like him. Later, Michael and I returned to the village. We danced among the people. Something strange happened. They could see me dancing. They seemed to enjoy what they saw. But they didn't seem to recognize that the woman in front of them was the same Mara they had driven away. For a moment, I could stand among them without being hated. But I wasn't truly one of them anymore. I wanted to understand everything Michael knew. So I asked him to teach me. He warned me that knowledge had a price. Michael still remembered the human world. Despite everything that had happened to him, part of him had never completely abandoned it. That was why he still returned to weddings. Why he still played his fiddle near people who feared him. But I wanted to go further than he had. So, I crossed the final boundary. Whatever power had been sleeping inside me was finally opened. After that, the world I had known was no longer the same. I could return to my family's home. I could stand outside their window and look inside. I could go to people's doors and knock. But when they looked for me, they could no longer truly see me. I had wanted my entire life to be accepted by them. Now I could stand beside them and still remain outside their world. Michael had warned me that once I crossed over, I could never truly go back. He was right. I was no longer the frightened girl they chased through the mud. I had found the power Michael saw inside me. But the price was becoming what I had always feared I already was. An outcast,